All right, today's lesson is going to be on finding volume, and we are going to do some practice problems. So the volume formula is volume equals base, or the area of the base, times the height of any 3D shape. So volume is filling up a shape, so it's what can fit in the inside of a shape. All right, follow along on your sheet of paper and complete the problems with me. The first problem: what is the volume of this triangular right prism? So it's called a triangular prism. So the triangle is the base, or the big B, that we're going to find if we're trying to find the volume. So we need to find the area of the base, and if it's a triangular prism, then the triangle is the base. So we're going to find the area of the base, then multiply it by its height, which is really the distance from one triangle to the back triangle. That's called the height of this shape. So pretend we're standing this shape up on its base, so it's sitting on the triangle, and the distance from one triangle to the other triangle is really what we call the height of this shape. So we're going to find the area of the triangle. That's going to be the big B, and multiply it by the height, the distance from one triangle to the other. Since it's called a triangular prism, the base is the triangle. So find the area of the triangle, then the distance from one triangle to the other triangle is the height. So, all right, so the area of a triangle formula is what you need to remember, which is 1/2 little b times a. It's the base and the height of the triangle. So I'm going to fill that in. So 1/2, which I'm going to just use 0.5. 0.5 times the base of 5 and the height of 6 on this triangle. So I'm looking at this triangle, base of 5, the height of 6 times 1/2. So that will give me the answer of 15. So that is the first part of my problem. So again, I'm doing the volume formula. The volume formula is going to be the area of my big B, which we just found, or the base of the shape, is 15. Now I'm just going to multiply it by the height of the shape. So the height of this shape is from the one triangle to the next is 11. So 15 times 11 is actually the volume of this rectangular prism. All right, so hopefully you got 165 feet cubed. We say it's to the third power because there are 3 dimensions in volume, really the length, the width, and the height of the shape. All right, let's go to the next problem. All right, next problem. This problem's a little bit tricky, so we're going to actually need to remember what surface area is too. And if you remember, surface area is the area of each of the faces around a 3-dimensional object. So it's what covers the faces, not what fills it. Volume is what fills it. So let's review the formula. So surface area we'd find by finding the area of each of these square faces, and if this is a cube, the length and the width are the same, so the side times the side would give us the area of one of the sides. So if we can find that, then we can just multiply that by 6 to find the whole surface area. All right, and then the volume of the cube, the volume would just be length, width times height, and that would be the volume of the cube. And of course they'd all be the same number since it's a cube, so we'd have the same number times itself 3 times. All right, so we're going to have to work backwards on this problem. They gave us the surface area of 96, so that would be the area of all the faces added together. So if I actually divided by 6, I could get the area of one of the faces. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Do that on your calculator. All right, so I got the area of one of the faces is 16 inches squared. So we are going to remember that number. So 16 inches squared. Now that's the area of one of the faces. Let's just say this front face. So what would be the side length? If we can find the side length, then we can easily figure out the volume. Well, what number, so if we're going to do length and width or side times side, what number times itself, so would give us 16. 3 times 3 is 9. That wouldn't work. 5 times 5 would be 25. So actually what would work is if the sides were 4. So if that side was 4 and the height was 4, the area of this face would be 16. So I know the side length equals 4 inches. All right, so if we know that, now we can figure out what the volume is. So I know each side is 4, so I know the volume formula of a cube is length times width times height. So really now I can say, well, the volume of this cube would be 4 times 4 times 4. So let's do that on our calculator, and we could find the volume equals, all right, I hope you calculated it. It would be 64 inches, and that would be cubed. Oops, sorry, this is sloppy. And that is your answer. We just worked backwards from surface area and found the volume of this cube. All right, let's see if you can find 3 and 4 on your own. All right, so for number 3, hopefully you found out that the volume was 729 feet cubed. So if they gave you the surface area of 486, you could divide that by 6 and find the area of one of the faces of the square. And then you know to find the side length, you need to figure out, well, what number times itself, length times width or side times side, would give you the area of 81. And that number is 9. So if we know one of the side lengths, that's all we need to know for the volume formula for a cube, because length times width times height is the volume. So 729 feet cubed would give you your volume. In problem 4, you should have found that since the surface area, the area covering the shape, was 294, you could divide that by 6 since there's 6 faces and find the area of one of the faces. And if you know the area of this front face is 49, what would be the side length? Well, the sides are the same, so 7 times 7 gives you 49. So you have to work backwards. So you know that if one of the sides is 7, all of them are. So length times width times height is our volume formula for a cube, and that's 343. Next problem is finding the volume of a triangular right prism. So if it's called a triangular prism, then the base is a triangle. So we need to find the area of the whole base, that's what the big B means, and then multiply it by its height, which is really the length or the distance from one triangle base to the other triangle. All right, so let's work on finding the area of the base, which is the area of the triangle, and we know that's 1/2 little b, base times height. So I'm just looking at the triangle to do that. So I know that, let's see, the base is 4, so it'd be 1/2 4. The height is 6. So 1/2 4 times 6 is 12 centimeters squared. So that's the big B. So we have part of our volume formula. That's the big B. Now we just multiply it by the height, and the height is 12 from one triangle to the next triangle. So if we put the triangle sitting up on its base, the distance from one to the other is 12. So our volume of this shape, the area of the base times the height, is 144 feet cubed. Sorry, that's very sloppy, but 144 feet cubed. All right, again, we have a triangular prism. So we need to find the area of the base. Well, it's asking us to find the volume of the triangular prism. So a triangle is this base, or the big B. So we need to find the area of the base. So volume is the area of the base times the height of the shape, or how far it is from base to base. So, all right, so we're going to find the area of this triangle and then see how far it is from this triangle to the other triangle. All right. So the area of the triangle base is 1/2 base times height. So 1/2. The base is 12. The height is 16. All right, so that would give us, for the area of the big B, so it would give us 96, and then we just have to multiply that, by the height. So times, well, the distance from the one triangle to the triangle in the back is 10. So the height of this triangle prism is 10. So, and that answer would be 960 centimeters cubed for our volume. All right, problems 7, 8, and 9 are very similar. So I'm going to do 7 for you and let you try 8 and 9. So this problem says if the volume of the rectangular right prism, which is this, is 576 centimeters cubed, and the area of the base is 96, meaning length times width is base, what is the height? Well, they're giving us the length times the width, and we don't know the height this time. So we kind of have to fill in or solve for the missing variable. All right, so this problem, they're saying that the volume, we know what the volume is. So that's 576. And they're giving us the area of the base. And the base of a rectangular prism is length times width. So I know that is 96. And remember, the volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. So they just gave us this. So really what we need to find is the missing height. All right, so we're going to solve this kind of like a missing length problem. So again, 96 is the length and the width, and we don't know the height. So 96 times the height would give us 576. So let's solve for h. So go ahead and solve for h. See if you can do that. Just pretend h is like x or a variable, and solve for h, and you will find out what the height is for this rectangular prism. All right, so hopefully you divided by 96 on this side. Remember, whatever you do to this side, you would do to this side of the equation. So now the height would just equal 576 divided by 96, which is 6. So your height would be 6 centimeters. And that is your answer. All right, see if you can do problems 8 and 9. They're very similar. All right, hopefully for number 8, you got that the height was 13. And then for number 9, they give you the volume. They tell you the area of the base is 150, so that's length width. So we just don't know the height. So we're gonna solve for 8. So we're gonna divide by 150 on both sides. I'm just going through this one quickly. So your height would have been whatever 1,350 divided by 150 is, and that is 9. So your height of this rectangular prism should be 9. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the answers for 10, 11, and 12 on another Edpuzzle video. So go ahead and try to solve those though now, and you can check your answers in part 2 of this video. So make sure if you're finding the volume of the house in number 10, you find the area of the rectangular prism on the bottom, then add it to the volume of the rectangular prism on the bottom, and then find the volume of the triangular prism on the top of the house and add those together. Same thing with the house in number 11. You're going to find the volume of the rectangular prism on the bottom, then add that to the volume of the rectangular prism, or the triangular prism of the roof. And the last one, number 12, you'll do the same thing. Find the volume of the prism on the bottom, and then you're going to have to find the volume of the pyramid that makes up the roof on top, and make sure you use the right formula for the volume of the pyramid, which is base times the height divided by 3. So don't forget that formula. All right.